Hello learners, I am Parikshit Saikia and welcome to another very exciting session on Unacademy CAT-alyst. In today's session, I am going to answer a question which students ask me every now and then. How many questions should I attempt so as to get 99 plus percentile in the CAT examination? I have answered this question so many times during my class, but today in this YouTube video, I am going to tell you all about the CAT exam, the scores and the percentiles and the target attempts that you need to have. Remember, what our analysis is based on historical data. The past few year CAT papers, we have taken data over the last few years, analyzed them, and the conclusions and the inferences will be discussed today in this particular video of mine. So make sure you watch this entire video to know this answer to this important question. How many attempts to get 99 plus percentile in the CAT? Let's get started. So this is me, Parikshit Saikia, your educator on Unacademy with the highest live class rating thanks to my learners. A lot of batches are starting on Unacademy in the next few days. The 29th of September, I just started the Sunrisers batch where I am taking LRDI for CAT 2022 from the very basics. And then on the 2nd of October, we have another 2 new batches starting. So if you wish to enroll for any of these batches, remember to use the code which is there on your screen, Parikshit Live. If you use this code, A, you will get maximum discounts while enrolling. B, you will also get free mentorship. Yeah, you heard it correct. Free mentorship on enrolling to Unacademy using the code Parikshit Live, and free mentorship is from my side. Let's get started with today's session. Okay, let's pull up the details on the screen. Okay, first things first. This is something that all of you know, but I definitely want to remind you before we get into the all-important discussion. Previously, till CAT 2019, right? Till CAT 2019. If you look at the old pattern till 2019, there were a total of 100 questions and 34 in verbal, 32 in LRDI and 34 in Quants. But now in 2020 and CAT 2021, the number of questions have reduced. Okay, so CAT 2020 it was 76 questions, so 26 questions in verbal and quants and 24 in LRDI. In CAT 2021, if you go as per newspaper reports, okay, the number of questions is supposed to come down further. If you have been reading the newspaper articles, even if it has come in the Times of India, the number of questions is supposed to fall further. So when I say fall further, it definitely means from 76, it will not fall too much. It will be around, let's say, it can remain at 76 or max to max, it can fall till 70. 70 to 76 questions is our expectations, right? 70 to 76 questions in the upcoming CAT examination. So what about the time limit? The time limit, as you know, is 40 minutes per section. This remains unchanged compared to the last year. So you know this, for every correct answer 3 marks, wrong answer -1 and unattempted 0 marks. Okay. Now with 70 to 76 questions in the CAT paper, okay, how many should you attempt? That's what we are going to answer in this session. Okay. Now let's look at historical data again. Let's look at historical data and let's look at CAT 2020. How did it go? Okay. Remember the CAT 2020, the number of questions were more or less the same. Okay. So if you look at CAT 2020, a score versus percentile table, if you are standing amongst the all India toppers, a 99.5 plus percentile, your score is somewhere between 120 to 114 depending on which slot did you write the exam. Slot 1 was easy, hence the cutoffs were a bit high, and slot 3 was a bit difficult last year, hence the cutoff fell marginally, like 6 marks, right? But 120 was the score required. So on an average, we can keep the middle figure around 115 is the score required to score 99.5 plus percentile. Now even here you would be safe, 99 plus percentile. So we are looking at, I will take not the average, approximately the middle number. Let's not look at the extremes. 110 is an extreme case, 104 is the difficult case, but middle number is 105. So I think 105 is a safe bet in CAT 2021 as well. Now, what brings me to the conclusion, okay, of 105, around 105 should be the score. Why? Remember, CAT 2021, as I said, as per newspaper reports, number of questions will fall. Number of questions is supposed to decrease further. So one thing is sure, it is not going to increase. It is going to remain the same or it is going to decrease. Hence, the cutoffs definitely shouldn't be increasing if the difficulty level remains the same. So if the difficulty level is more or less the same, the cutoffs will either come down. Why? Because the number of questions have gone down. If the number of questions have gone down, it means the choices that you get, the number of choices, okay, let's say previously you could leave 5 questions. Now you'll be able to leave only 3 questions. So hence the cutoff is expected to fall. But I would say if you are targeting in this 99 percentile range, right, a definite score would definitely be 100 plus. For sure it could be 100 plus. Remembering and again remember, assuming that the difficulty level is more or less like the last year's. If you belong to a general category, okay, 97 percentile will also fetch you calls from the newer IIMs. So even if you end up getting around 95, this is a safe bet. If you belong to a reserve category like an NCOBC or an SCSC, 97 percentile will get you IIM Ahmedabad. So these, right, you see here 95. So up till here, any score up till here, I think is very much achievable. Up till 89 is very much achievable. And even if you end up getting 95 percentile, you'll get calls from colleges like IIT Ghaziabad, right? And the newer IIMs, even at the end of 95 percentile, you will end up with IIT Ghaziabad, you get TAPME, you will get some of the IITs, right? You might also get, even if it's around 96 percentile, you'll also get from MBA Gurgaon. So 89 to 90 should be your target in the mock exams. Now, having known your scores, having known the percentile that you need to get, you should look farther down. You should deep dive more. You should be analyzing your last 5-10 mocks, okay? And probably not at this point of time, but on the last day of October, remember October 31st, you take a pause and look at your attempts and the accuracy. For most of the students who is preparing well, okay, the accuracy would hover around 90 to 80%. Would hover around, I would say if you're preparing very well, 90% accuracy is what you would want to achieve. 100% accuracy, I think, is an ideal case. This is difficult to get. But let's say you are a close to 100% accuracy. And you know that your target score is 115, around 115, let's say. You know what? How many questions correct you want? You want to have 39 questions correct. Around 39 questions correct. Okay. So 39 into 3 would fetch you 117. 117. Assuming, again I will assume 100% accuracy. This ideally isn't the case. You should ideally target for a 90% accuracy, and for a 90% accuracy, okay, what is the score you are looking at? You are looking at around 105 score. 105, right? If you are looking at around 105, right, 105, how many questions should you attempt? I would say if you end up attempting, even if let's say around 45 questions, right? Even if not 45, 45 is a good number. Even if you end up attempting 42, around 42 questions, okay, 42, mind you, very important number, very, very important number. Around 42 questions, if you end up attempting, okay, let's say out of the 42, you get around how many correct? Around 36, 37 correct? Around 36, 37 correct? And you get around 5 to 6 incorrect. Around 5 to 6 incorrect. You should count that as well, okay? You never say 100% accuracy. 5 to 6, let's say, would be incorrect. You would end up around 100 and how much marks, right? You would end up around 110, around approximately 110. And if you can get that 110, right, this would be more than 99 percentile. Some of you might be happy even with 99, right? Most of you would be happy. Even this would be a very safe range. So remember, your number of attempts should be a bit more compared to the target score. And how much more? That is defined by your mock exams. Look at your mocks. Go back to your 5-10 last mocks, okay? And I think the best time to do would be October end. Look at the RCs. Look at your verbal section. Try to figure out what has been the average accuracy over the past 5, 6, 7 mock exams. Don't take all the 25 mocks. Why? Because remember, on day one, the first mock you gave, your preparation level was not up to the mark. Hence, you could not solve a lot of questions. Hence, you took a lot of blind guesses. So I think it would be wise if you take only the September and October mocks that you have attempted and try to figure out an accuracy level. I think it holds mostly for your verbal and definitely for your Quants and LRDI as well. Because Quants and LRDI, most of the times you might not be marking a wrong answer, because only if you get the answer you will mark. But for verbal, for some reason, Indian students who attempt the CAT, right, just try to attempt almost everything out. If there are 25 questions in verbal, you end up attempting 23 and you sound very happy. Figure out what has been your accuracy. Accordingly, if your accuracy is low, let's say your accuracy is around 80%, and you know that you should end up getting 100 plus score, okay, 100 plus raw score to get a 99 plus percentile, the number of attempts should also increase, because you know that your accuracy is low. Hence, some of the questions will go wrong. So, more that I attempt, let's say the number of wrong questions, incorrect, you get negative marks, and overall the score can be 100 plus. So this strategy is very important. I would say, if required, after the class ends, take a photo of this two particular tables, right? Keep this in mind and keep this in mind while attempting your mocks. Next, now you know you'll need a score of around 105, 100 to 105 to end up with a 99 plus percentile. Now let's look at the sectional cutoffs, okay? Let's look at the sectional cutoffs. Remember, the sectional cutoffs, you can't be saying if 105 is my total score. It's not like you should be getting around 35. 105 divided by 3 is 35 marks per section. It's not like that. Remember, we just saw in the slide that 99 plus percentile, okay? If that's your target, you end up getting, how much you want to get? You want to get, let's say, approximately around 105 marks. I'll keep it as 105 marks, okay? 105 marks. Now, you don't divide this by 3. You don't divide this by 3 and say approximately 35 marks per section. That would be an incorrect way of looking at it. Why? Because you know, in the CAT, there are 3 sections. And generally, out of the 3 sections, you know what? 2 of the sections, okay, would be moderate, and 1 section could be a bit difficult. Now, going by past pattern, okay, and going by the fact that paper setters or even professors in the exam in IIMs believe that engineers have, you know what, engineers have an undue advantage in quants and they want diversity. So generally, if you look at the last 3-year papers, quants has not been difficult. This section, right, is easy to moderate, is actually easy to moderate, okay? Last 3-4 year patterns you recognize, and they say that if I give this section, if I make this quant section difficult, the problem is I will end up getting a lot of engineers in the IIMs, which we don't want. So they want to make this section easy to moderate so that even non-engineers have a level playing field. That leaves us with the other 2 sections. Verbal again has mostly been on the easy to moderate side. Verbal again in the last 2-3 years have been on the easy to moderate side again. But I think what matters at the end of the day is your LRDI section, and this section has actually been difficult in the past year papers. Okay, so if you look even at the cutoffs and if you look at the number of attempts, okay, this gives you a fair idea. You see the number of attempts required, okay, to you to get a 99 plus percentile is more in verbal and in quants. While in DILR, even if the number of attempts are low, even if your estimated score is low, you know what? You can end up with a 99 plus percentile. So keep realistic attempts, okay? 105, I'm targeting. But you know what? I'm targeting 105, not more, not equally, but more in verbal and quants, and probably a bit less in DILR. If more so, if I am not very strong in this section. More so, if I am not very strong in this section. So you know what? 3 marks per question. So if I say 3 marks per question, can I say 11 to around 11 correct attempts, right? 11 questions correct, okay, in LRDI will fetch you a 99 plus percentile. How much is 11 questions? By the way, 11 questions correct would mean approximately 3 sets. Approximately 3 sets. And you know the good part? In CAT 2020, there were 2 sets which had 6 questions each. 2 sets with 6 questions each. If there are 2 sets with 6 questions in, it would mean even if you end up solving 3 sets with 4 questions each, or 2 sets with 6 questions each. This is sufficient to clear your LRDI cutoffs. LRDI cutoffs. And I would say, if you ask me my estimate, this is going to remain same even this year. Why? The logic is, again, there is a rational thinking behind this. The rational thinking is engineers, BCom graduates, arts, English honors, doesn't matter. LRDI is same for everyone. No one has an undue advantage in this section, and hence CAT paper setters try to play with this section. Verbal and quants. No. Why? Quants basically engineers. It's skewed towards engineers, and verbal is basically skewed towards students who are good in the subject, probably who had a very good, let's say, a convent education in your school days, right? So if that's been your case, you'd be good in the subject. But LRDI, it's a level playing field, and because it's a level playing field, the CAT exams in the last 3-4 years have made this the decisive section. So please make sure that you prepare well for the LRDI and you can look at the cutoffs accordingly. Number of questions, how much will it change? Again, as I say, going with the newspaper reports, I would say the number of questions would come down around 21 to 22 this year. 21 to 22 in LRDI. What about VRC? VRC would also come down. It would be around 22 to 24, and quants would around also be 22 to 24. So number of questions, total questions would come down by around 6. So last year, if you look, total number of questions last year was 76. This year, my analysis says it would be around 70 questions. Around 70 questions. Correct? Okay. This is CAT 2020. CAT 2020. Again, I will repeat. Total marks in CAT 2020 was 76 into 3. So 228 marks paper. 228 marks paper. Correct? Anyone who gets 105, around 105, out of 228, you get 105 marks. You end up with 99 plus percentile. This would mean this is less than 50%. Less than 50%. So less than 50% of the questions correct, you are through. Okay. Now let's go back to previous years. Let's go back to previous years. Okay. What about the previous year CAT scores? Okay. Let's look at those data as well. So we have looked at CAT 2020 in details. And now I'm going to look at the previous year CAT papers. The previous year CAT papers. Okay. Score versus the percentile. CAT 2019, 2018, 17 and 16. If you remember, total number of questions, all these were 3-hour paper, 3 hours, 100 questions in total. 100 questions in total. Okay. 100 questions in total. And 100 questions mean how much marks? Into 3. So total marks was around 300. Was 300 marks. I will not be looking at 99.9 percentile. Let's not look at here. Obviously, if you become 99, if you are a 99.9 percentile, you are an all India topper. I would rather look at this section. This is your target, 99 percentile. So let's look at this section, and this is where you need to concentrate. Okay, the more, obviously, if you can score more than this, better it is. But except for CAT 2017, look at this. Out of 300, 157 marks, okay, will get you 99 plus percentile. 155 and 153. So 2017, I would say, is a deviation. But for the other years, can I say the total cutoffs, okay, for 99 plus percentile is just greater than 50%. Is just greater than 50%. Last year it was less than 50%, but previous year it had just been over 50%. So I think our score just over 50% marks is very, very, very good, and you are almost sure to be in the IIMs if you end up getting somewhat just about 50% marks. So if there are 70 questions this time, let's say 70 questions, 70 into 3 at 3 is 210 marks. So if you can get around 105, you are through. You are through. And then if let's say this becomes too difficult for you, let's say this is too difficult, you know what? Even a 96 percentile will fetch you calls from the newer IIMs. From the newer IIMs. A lot of the newer IIMs, you will get calls. I am talking about the general category. Reserve category are lesser than this. 125, 135 and 132. Right? Look at this. CAT 2017, this year was a deviation where verbal was very easy. Quants was very easy. And then LRDI was tough. This was the only deviation here. Now, in the year of a pandemic, okay, where already so many things are uncertain, I would not expect the cutoffs to be high, to be very high. It will not be. So if you look at out of the last 5 years, 2020, we have already seen the cutoffs have always hovered around the 50 percentile range, and I think it would be a safe bet if you are able to target that 50%. As I said, accuracy is important. If you want to get 50% of the overall marks, depending on the accuracy that you've been giving in your mock exams, right? You decide how much more you need to attempt so that accordingly, even if you get a few questions wrong, you end up with the 99 plus percentile. See, look at the difference, okay? Look at the difference. I don't know how many of you are observing these numbers. If you are looking at the differences carefully, a 95 and a 99 percentile difference is 37 marks. Can you see this? 37 marks. 37. 37 is approximately 12 questions. 12 questions. What does this show? This shows that there are a handful of students who are super talented. A handful of students in the country are super talented. They push the cutoffs high. But for the remaining, there's a difference of overall 12 questions. And even if you end up with 120, remember 120 out of 300. These were the days when CAT was of 3 hours and 300 marks. 120, 12 questions, okay, 12 questions difference. You still end up with a 95 percentile, and 95 percentile is good enough for an IIMT Ghaziabad, is good enough for, even if you have a good profile, it's good enough for the SP Jains. If you have a good profile, it's enough even for IIM Kozhikode, IIM Shillong, provided your profile is good. If the percentile is low, the profile has to be good. Something has to be there, right? Only then you will get the calls. And at 90 percentile, I would say this is also, I mean, obviously it's not that you have lost everything. Even if you end up with a 90 percentile score, you know what? You will get calls from TAPME, okay? You will be eligible to write the MICA second stage examination, the MICA examination. Again, you will be eligible to write, let's say, get calls from KJ Somaya. You will be getting calls from Wellinger. These are not bad colleges. These are definitely good colleges, right? Again, IMT Ghaziabad, right? So, a lot of colleges are still there. So, even if you are not doing very well, don't lose hope in this last 7 weeks remaining. You still can prepare and get 99, around 99. 99 was out of 300. What is 99? 99, I don't want you to look at it as an absolute score. Rather, look at it as 1/3 of total. 1/3 of total. Can you see this? This is 1/3 of total. So this year, even if you are able to attempt 1/3 of the total, you might end up with some of the good colleges in the country. And if you belong to a reserve category, I don't have to say, if you belong to a reserve category and get a 90 percentile, you will get much better colleges. So don't give up. Even if you are not scoring well, I think it's time that you stay put. It's time that you work hard for the next 7 weeks. You never know. Miracles happen, but miracles will happen only if you put in the effort. That effort is required from your end, right? So yeah, if you have questions, I think I'm open to questions. Do you have questions? You can put it in the YouTube live. I'm ready to take questions that you might have regarding the topic, cutoffs and percentile. Anything that you wish to ask? Anything that you all wish to ask? I think this is a good thing that you have got today. The data is important, and accordingly you can look at how you have been faring in your mock exams. Remember, the mocks are a bit tough, okay? The mocks are a bit tough. So the scores in the mocks will be a bit on the lower side compared to the numbers that you see on the board. Remember, especially if you are writing mocks from the renowned institutes, the cutoffs will be lower. Why? Because the questions are tough. But in the actual CAT, questions are a bit easy on the lower side as compared to the mocks, and hence the scores will also increase. The scores will also increase proportionally. Correct? Okay. Okay, now for those of you who are preparing for the CAT, doesn't matter CAT 2021 or 2022, I have something for all of you. If you are a CAT 2021 aspirant, I have come up with my last course on quants just yesterday on the 1st of October. Every night, even today we have Saturday to Sunday, every day, 10 to 12 p.m., 2 hours, we do quants questions from the mock papers. We solve quants questions from mock papers, and I'm trying to give you variety. I am trying to ensure we cover all the 20 chapters of quants, all important topics. What is my concept? My concept is I follow the Pareto rule. What is the Pareto rule? The Pareto rule says that 80% of the questions, okay, come from 20% of the most important topics. So the course that I have come up with will just help you to determine this, the Pareto rule. Those 20% of the topics which you need to revise so as to ensure that you are able to attempt 80% of the questions, right? That's what my course is going to focus on. So it started just yesterday, and every night 10 to 12 p.m. night, okay, 10 to 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. night on Unacademy Plus. And then for CAT 2022, I've just had one class. I had a class on basics of LRDI, every Wednesday 7:30 to 9 a.m. So you can join live, and if you are joining live, okay, so we have options for you. Now it depends on whether you are a CAT 2021 or a CAT 2022 aspirant. If you are a 2021 aspirant, the best offer is the one you see on the screen. 2 more months, you go for a 2-month subscription with us. On 7,000 that you see, you will get 10% off if you use my code Parikshan Live, which is there on your screen. So 700 rupees off, 6,300, 2 months left. You will get access to all educators and every video which is there on the Unacademy platform, which runs into several thousands of hours. So let's say you start with geometry, you are not sure about geometry. Fine, join us. You can go through the entire recordings for the 2 months are there, and then you can join me live every night 10 to 12 for solving mock questions. And use my code Parikshan Live to get a 10% discount, 2-month subscription. For CAT 2021 aspirants, you can go for a 6-month, 1 year, 18-month, or a 24 subscription, depending on your needs, right? And you see the prices, they are mentioned on the screen. You need further discounts, you can use the code Parikshan Live, which is there on your screen, to get more discounts. And remember, if you use this code, you will also get free mentorship. I repeat, free mentorship, which is available only and only on this code, and that too from my side. Some students ask, sir, if I join using your code, do I get access to all educators? Absolutely. Remember, you are not subscribing to me, but you are subscribing to an educator. Hence, you're not subscribing to me, but rather you are subscribing to the Unacademy platform. And hence, you will get access to all educators, be it any topic, quants, verbal, or LRDI. And yeah, the iconic subscription is also available for those of you who are interested. And India's biggest weekly scholarship test is available. Do enroll for free. Yes, that is it. Last few days remaining, last few weeks remaining for CAT 2021. Put in your best, and I definitely expect that we'll have a lot of 100 percentilers this year from amongst our students. With that note, stay safe, and I'm going to see you tomorrow morning 10:30 a.m. with another session of mine. Till then, goodbye and stay safe. Bye for now.